Oh, what's up, mafiosos? How y'all doing?
Hi, Skeptic Mafia.
Hey, it took us a second. It took me a second to actually start this off correctly. So we're gonna chug through this because we're dedicated for you guys.
Yeah.
But anyways, so today on the show we have Fox News, who's putting out there that apparently climate change is a religious belief. Then we're going to go directly into this Christian guy who's going to describe gay sex and its repercussions for us.
You suppose he's ever had gay sex?
He's probably fantasized about it. And then we've got Dave Doobie Meyer. Dookie Meyer, whatever. Apparently, he thinks that the devil is utilizing Billie Eilish, or Eilish. I don't know how you pronounce her last name. But anyways, apparently the devil's using her and her music to steal your children. So, PSA.
Don't let your kids listen to Billie Eilish.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Eilish.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that here in a second. So I hope that you guys will stay tuned. All right, mafiosos. Well, first up, we have Fox News. Of course, they have a panel, and of course, they're going to try to paint whatever scientific position that they don't like because of their religion. They're going to try to paint it as a religion. And luckily enough, we have video of this.
I'm too sick for this.
I thought this was evidence of why these big climate change proposals will never work, because people don't want to be told what to do.
Well, you even see them with some of the Democratic candidates. They get asked questions that are supposed to seem crazy, like the straw thing. That's silly, right? And they go, "Well, climate change is an existential threat, and maybe we can't have straws." And everyone starts looking at them like, "Really, guys? This is where we're going? Stop eating red meat." These are things that are never going to catch on with the electorate, and it just goes to, climate change is a religious belief for people who think they're too smart for religion. That's really what it's turned into now. And you see all the different aspects. It lines up. They're asking for forgiveness.
So maybe who is this asshole right here? I don't even know. His name's not up there. This particular gentleman is very uninformed about the impacts of certain things on the planet. Now, number one, the straw thing is not about climate. The straw thing is about pollution. Okay, and it's different. It's a different kind of pollution. It's a problem. Now, straws overall are not one of the biggest problems that we have, certainly. And actually, I found out, I don't know if you know about this, but McDonald's in places like California and other places who have gone to paper straws, their paper straws are not recyclable. The plastic ones are. The paper ones are not, because they have to be so thick. The paper has to be so thick so they don't get like soggy and bend and shit and dissolve in the water or the liquid, that they can't be put through the recycling machines because they'll break the machines. So the paper ones are actually worse than the straw ones because they can't be recycled. So that's a flaw in design of those straws for sure. So that's not the biggest issue, but I do think that this gentleman here and others should probably look into the impacts of agriculture and animals, like breeding animals for meat, for food industry kind of stuff. He should really look into that because it is a problem.
Yeah, and as far as like the straw things go, I feel like they're trying almost like a genetic fallacy with this, because they're trying to say, oh, these people, they do the paper straws, so now the straw, we got to take all the straws away and stuff. So he's trying to make it look ridiculous. And because it's like a more left-leaning position to want to be, greener and want to try to do whatever we can to take care of our environment, apparently that's a bad thing.
Yes, according to them.
Well, obviously, these people are going to think that only God can really change anything about our environment, which is bullshit.
Well, I don't know about that, but like there's a guy that I work with who it's kind of a little off of this, but sort of along the same lines because he's like the electorate's not going to go for it. Well, so this guy that I work with was talking about he drives one of those big pickup trucks, like not a coal roller, but close. You know what I'm talking about? And he said that he doesn't have a problem with electric vehicles. He would even buy one if it costs the same as the regular truck he has, and he could get the regular truck he has in electric, and it would last as long, like one charge would last as long as a tank of gas, and it would only take the same amount of time to charge it as it does to pump a tank of gas. And so he's got like all these, like he's not willing to do anything like to inconvenience him or anything at all to make a minor adjustment in his life to better the environment. And so this guy is not totally wrong. A lot of people are not going to go for things because they just can't be bothered to make minor changes in their lifestyles.
So I feel like a point needs to be made to that guy that like you wouldn't want to. Like, that's just not how electricity is going to work in general. I mean, I don't know, maybe sometime in the future we could think about how to super pump electricity into a car, but I don't know. Anyways, but for the purposes that he's talking about here, being that it's not like a long distance road trip or something like that,
yeah,
I would think that just having it being able to be plugged in at night, like that's all you have to remember. Plug it in at night.
I think probably will it last all day? Like, you know what I mean? Like, will it last where you don't have to stop? Are there, and I don't like if you're on the road, finding a place to stop and charge, it would probably, for me, I mean, I don't know of places that do that. I'm sure there are places that do that, but I don't know of many really. I don't even know any in town that do that.
There was that one like random Tesla charger, like in, where was it? Like it was Iowa?
It was in Illinois. It was on the way
to Iowa.
Yeah.
It just randomly, it's just Tesla chargers. And I mean, I've seen Teslas driving around here in North Alabama.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some kind of Tesla charger. I don't know if maybe they get one installed when they buy one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they probably have something at their home that's, you know, they're able to do that. But yeah, for as far as charging cars on the road, I don't know. But to me, like, even if he had to stop for 30 minutes or whatever, or an hour to charge his vehicle enough to continue on his way, stop somewhere, have something to eat. Like, you know what I mean? Plug your bitch in and like have a break, walk around. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If everybody were to make small adjustments in their life and their trips and whatever, if people were to make small adjustments, we could make a big impact.
Right.
Do they really think that there's any world in which any of this makes any difference?
Yeah, no, they've got Catholic guilt and they're going to confession, but they just have forgotten about God, so they're worshiping the environment instead. I thought that for a long time that actually...
Hold on.
What?
So let's address this whole thing about climate change being a religion, because this is something that they push heavily on here. They mentioned the Catholic guilt and how they're asking for forgiveness and all this other shit.
But they think that Democrats are Catholic?
Well, yeah, they do.
Okay.
I mean, my dad is a Democrat. He's Catholic. So, I mean,
sure,
they exist.
But there are plenty of Republican Catholics.
Oh, yeah. It's so, like, religion is completely and entirely different than climate change. Climate change is not dogmatic. Like, if it were dogmatic, we would have written down our holy texts at some point, and you couldn't change that view of it. Like, no matter what happened, you reinterpret the text and everything like that. Climate change is a scientific idea. That means that it has a built-in way to reconfigure our knowledge base with new information.
I mean, I don't know. They got the Farmer's Almanac. That's the Bible of weather right there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you use like science in order to predict things. And even then, like if it gets it wrong, they're like, well, shit, I guess we got to change something up so that we can be right. Like they're not going to force reality to mold to what they're saying.
It's also about weather and not about climate.
Well, true. Weather, not climate.
It was a joke.
Yeah, I know. But these people, they have to put scientific ideas in the field of religion, or at least characterize them as religious, because honestly, religion cannot compete with science on scientific topics.
No.
Like, you can't ask like a question in science about theological issues, like in Christianity and all this other stuff. You can't, like, science can't go through and look at the theological aspect of it, but like science can be used to verify whether or not that shit is possible.
Well, so here's the other thing I think is interesting. They've got Catholic guilt and they're going to confession, but they have forgotten about God. So if you're Catholic and you have the guilt and you're going to confession, you haven't forgot about God.
Well,
Like,
I think she's trying to characterize it, not that they are Catholic, but just the whole guilt that Catholics feel.
Well, if you have guilt and you're going to confession, if you're going to you're going to confess your sins to the priest, who's your, go-between to God, to get forgiveness from God. So if they're going to confession, they've not forgotten about God, and they're certainly not worshiping the environment.
Well, no, but what she's trying to compare it to religion.
I understand that, but none of this works. Like what she's trying to say doesn't make sense, because if they've got the guilt and they're going to confession, they haven't forgotten about God.
No. They're saying that they're worshiping the environment, and so they're confessing their sins to the environment priests. And environment is their god. See, at the very end, she says, so they're worshiping the environment instead.
Right, but it says they've got Catholic guilt and they're going to confession. There's no environmental priest that you confess to.
Well, no, true. I mean, it still doesn't work, but she's trying to put environmentalism as the religion.
It's stupid.
It is.
I thought that for a long time, that actually environmentalism in so many places have replaced religion, and you see it with kids in school. I mean, one of my kids, their class said that their motto was treat myself well, treat my friends well, respect the environment. And I was like, that's love your neighbor as yourself and God above all things. It's the same thing. You just replace who's in there.
Well, no. I mean, I don't know what kind of mantra that is for a class, but I don't see how you can seriously shit on, like, being environmentally conscious.
Yeah, I don't understand what's wrong with this. Like, be kind to your friends, respect each other. Okay, look, love your neighbor as yourself is not a Christian thing.
No.
That's like, or like be kind, the golden rule kind of thing. That doesn't belong to Christianity. That's not a Jesus thing.
No, and she's trying to paint it as like, she's trying to paint environmentalism as this religion, and it just doesn't work. I mean, that's a false analogy.
Well, there's probably a whole load of other things that they teach, the kids about, and there's nothing wrong with being environmentally conscious. Like, I don't understand what their problem is with this.
You see, the problem is that not everybody has one of those coal rolling type of trucks and masturbates while they, destroy the environment.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem.
Okay.
I also think it's funny for NBC. It's a little like CNN, where if you are out there holier than thou, people really don't love sanctimony, and they're going to end up just shoving it right back down your throat.
The biggest weakness that all this stuff always has is that the spokespersons for this movement are, the hypocrisy always comes out. Al Gore's house uses 20 times the average person's electricity. You look at all these things, and they also had this young girl who was, 16?
Greta Thunberg. I mean,
we're going to ask her about the Fed rate next?
Okay, that's a really shitty take on that. I mean, honestly, the girl, she is 16 and she's become a very prominent figure in climate activism. And that's a really low blow for somebody, on Fox News to like shit on a 16-year-old.
Well, I mean, wasn't that her choice to do that?
Well, yeah.
Like, I mean, nobody asked her to do that.
No, she's passionate about climate change activism, and she's, 16, and she wants to be a voice for the future.
Good for fucking her.
I know, but they're acting like she's some sort of prop for people to use.
Well, I mean, that's how a lot of people act. I mean, you've seen people do this online and whatever. You have someone who the one side doesn't like, and so they're like, oh, they're their token whatever. So they're, that's how they're acting.
It seems like it's just an easy way to dismiss her, dismiss her entirely.
Come on, I don't think she's picking on children.
She's a kid.
Yeah, no,
I'm not picking on her, but she's
children.
testifying about climate change in front of Congress. What
She
is wrong
actually.
with you?
Well, let's talk about that.
A lot of people testify before Congress. Actors testify before Congress. Hell, Mr. fucking Rogers testified in front of Congress so that PBS would keep their funding.
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me that there's some kind of like criteria for being heard by your government representatives?
I mean, there shouldn't be. I don't know why she's testifying in front of Congress, but there's tons of committees and lots of people come there. I think that people that go in there should have some sort of vested interest or expertise in whatever they're there to talk about. But literally everyone on this planet has a vested interest in the climate. So I'm not really sure what her, I don't know why they're having her, but.
Well, because I believe this is the same girl that stood outside the, I want to say it's Congress or something like that with a sign every day for a year or something like that, talking about climate change. She's very passionate about climate change.
She go to school?
Huh?
Does she go to school?
Well, yeah, she did.
This was the girl that, isn't this the girl that sailed across the ocean or something? So she's the girl that sailed across the Atlantic, but she protested outside of Sweden's parliament because she's Swedish.
Right. So I mean, we were both right about that. But still, her testifying in front of Congress or whatever like that. I mean, what my point was that all of the celebrities and everything like that have talked to Congress, they haven't talked to Congress about being actors or movies or anything like that.
Yeah.
They talk to them because they're knowledgeable in a certain area, or they're pushing for a certain thing that they've been working on personally.
Right.
In these types of areas. And so she's very relevant to talk about this. She's got the public eye, and anybody that we can get that's in the public eye to talk about climate change and how to combat it or at least curb it or whatever, I think is going to be beneficial all around. I don't see the point in picking on the 16-year-old kid.
It doesn't matter that she's 16 either. I don't understand the problem with people talking about things we can do to help with climate change. I mean, granted, people are not going to sail the Atlantic to get from one side to the other to avoid the greenhouse gas emissions from a commercial airline, because it takes a day to do it in a jet, and 2 weeks to do it in a boat, and not everybody has 2 fucking weeks to sail across the ocean to get from one side to the other and 2 weeks to get back. So people aren't going to do that, but
Yeah.
Let's talk about
no,
kid bashing.
No kid bashing.
Yeah, no kid bashing, especially a kid who is more alert to the challenges that are facing our planet than a great number of adults.
Congress that is
Talk
getting
about,
bashed. not
because
kids.
I read all of a lot of them yesterday, and it basically came across like, bite my hamburger. You're not going to tell me what to eat.
Yeah, I'm not the Green New Deal was a little too broad for me, but I think it is a good thing. I mean, this approach I think is silly, but certainly encouraging people to recycle, to compost, to do whatever they can.
This encouraged people to make fun of NBC is what it did. So it just sort of
it had that effect for some people, but
Again, Americans do not like being told what to do. Don't tell me what to eat. Don't tell me what to drive. So the liberals have to hide the cost increases so people can't see it and get angry. Buck, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, ladies.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I like the Buck faces that you made.
I really don't think conservatives need to be talking about cost increases at this point. Do you?
No, I really don't like her either. Americans do not like being told what to do. Bitch, you should care. You should choose to do things that help the environment. You should care about this.
Well, no, I mean, obviously she's not going to be around for the destruction of the world, so she doesn't give a shit.
I don't have anything nice to say about her.
Or she thinks God is the only one that can do shit. But anyways, so we spent a pretty good amount of time on this because climate change is a pretty important thing. But let us know what you think down below about this whole Fox News clip and everything like that. We'd love to hear from you guys. Next up, are you guys ready to learn about gay sex? This is gay sex that I didn't even know was an issue.
Oh.
Apparently. So there's this guy, Andrew Bezad. Oh no, he definitely got a bunch of wedgies when he was a kid. But apparently he posted a rant against homosexuality. And I just want to read right now in my Bro Cephas voice, what I think he sounds like.
But is this what he said?
This is what he said.
Oh, God.
It is not a simple accident as to why adult diapers have exploded in popularity, and it is not because of the generally aging population alone, but because of the LGBT, since due to their abuse of their colorectal regions, what they turned from being an exit only into their tunnel for hedonistic pleasure is a door that is now veritably permanently opened, for the thin muscles meant to expel waste material are no longer able to be held together tightly, and so as easy as one can stick unnatural objects into them, so can waste material easily fall out. That was all one sentence, by the way.
Are you going to continue?
I am. Does this gross depiction make you uncomfortable? It should, because this is the reality of Sodom. And since statistics indicate that it is likely over 90% of Americans support the concept of Sodom, they should also support the consequences of Sodom too, for the product cannot be divorced from the process by which it is created. Also, suck dick for Jesus and get pounded in the beehole for Jesus.
And then wear an adult diaper. Because your shit will just fall out.
Your shit will fall out, but it's because of Jesus, so that makes it okay.
Because assholes never close again.
No,
I wonder
never.
I wonder this, when you poop. I mean, I can't believe we're talking about this. I can't believe we're talking about this. When you poop, your butthole gets bigger. When you stop pooping, your butthole goes back.
Yeah.
Okay, so whether something is going in or out, when it's done, it goes back. Kind of like when a woman has a baby, her stuff goes back, right?
Well, yeah, he characterizes it as a muscle, right? Muscles, they get stretched and then they reform. This is not something new. I don't know why he thinks a constant pounding in the beehole would permanently relax a muscle unless you tear that sumbitch. Well, practice safe sex when it comes to anal, guys. Use lube. I've heard. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that when you, I mean, you can damage it, but I mean, you can damage it from pooping too.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you can damage it from having a really big turd. I mean, I really don't understand. This guy just really wants to gross out people in the about the LGBTQ community. That's all he's wanting to do.
Well, he also talks about it like it's the whole community, lesbians in general. I mean, it's not like they're not having regular butt sex. I mean, I guess some of them might if they like butt things.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, considering the prevalence of the anal category on Pornhub, don't you think that this would be something that they would have to deal with?
But straight people have anal sex. That's
what I'm saying. Is that on Pornhub, the anal category isn't just gay people.
Well, right. Women get anal on from men all the time.
And men love to get pegged.
Yeah. I don't understand. This is not a gay thing.
Right. I mean, I don't like to get pegged. I'm just saying that some men do.
I prefer not to talk about my sex life on camera.
Well, luckily we're not on camera.
I don't like to talk about my sex life on podcasts.
Okay. But anyways, this guy obviously doesn't know a goddamn thing about gay sex. but I'm sure that he's kind of curious about it at this point because he's trying to think about how it works. So I wonder how much research he did. Like, you think he went on Pornhub and looked at the gay section?
I don't know, but he's God. Like, if the door is now permanently opened, permanently, like a permanently gaping asshole.
I guess. I mean, I don't know what kind of dick they think that people are getting fucked with, like as a standard, so that it would permanently rip your rectum.
But I mean, if it did that, you'd have to have surgery. Like, this is not, and again, not just a gay person problem.
Also, well, I mean, there are several ways to go about, like, having gay sex. Like, obviously using lube, that's going to help, and stuff like that. I'm just saying that, like, there are ways to prepare yourself so that you don't, like, rip things.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I would imagine lube would be a primary thing.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Next article.
Totally not awkward at all.
No, okay. Like, the point is that the guy's not a doctor. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and there are obviously ways to prepare yourself for those particular acts, but
so
not
you don't get hurt.
So you don't get hurt. That's what I'm trying to promote.
Yeah, but there are also ways to prepare yourself for other types of sexual things that don't include your butthole that are also good for your health. Like, just take care of yourself and don't fucking rip shit up. Like, don't try to tear shit up. I mean, unless you like that, and then you might have to have surgery. But that's another thing. Your medical health and everything is between you and your doctor.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we've got Dave Dippenshitmeyer.
Dobenmeyer?
Something.
Dobenmeyer?
He's a dipshit.
Okay.
He's a Christian right activist, and as Hemameta is putting it here, who believes masturbation is gay because you're having sex with yourself. I used to be subscribed to his whole Pass the Salt thing, but I mean, I never watched it. I mean, Right Wing Watch has like somebody dedicated to listening to his bullshit.
Yeah, and they take clips.
Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm. So this is Dave Dubihauser talking about how Billie Eilish is being used by the devil to steal our kids.
Billie Eilish, 365, 451 million views. You see that, folks? The devil is out of the bottle.
Fuck her and her success.
I know. Holy shit. He's so pissed off that he doesn't have 340 some odd million people watching his shit every day.
Maybe he should try a different hat.
He should just try a different, I don't know.
Everything.
Yeah.
He's out of the bottle, and our children are watching it. You with me? You understand what's going on? Do you understand why we're playing patty cake in church and arguing over the rapture and not the rapture and over once saved, always saved, while we're inside the church fighting back and forth over meaningless drivel, over Hebrew and hermeneutics and end-time theology? The devil is stealing our children. 451 million views.
I don't know how views equate with the devil stealing children.
Or why he thinks only children are watching or listening.
Yeah. I guess children could be listening to Billy, but also that's just the YouTube views. Like, that's not counting, like, radio station plays and, like...
record sales.
Right. I don't understand. Hey, I feel like he's just pissed off that he doesn't get that many views.
Some 14-year-old girl. Now, I'm going to ask yourself this. Do you think she did it on her own? You think Billie Eilish came up with this idea on her own? Do you think this imagery and these songs and these videos, you think she just kind of did it on her own in her basement like me?
I mean, I hope she's not in her basement like you.
No.
Her production value is a little bit better.
Yeah, it's a lot better. She's probably making a lot more money. I doubt she even has a basement.
She might. I don't know.
Also, why are you living in the basement?
Probably his studio's in the basement.
Oh, you think? I don't know. When we get a house, we're going to have it on the second floor.
Well, yeah. But it would be good to have it in the basement if we had one, because the sound, it would be...
I don't know. I guess it's fine, but it's kind of weird that you put that out there.
Yeah, and do you think she did it on her own? I don't know. Maybe she had friends. Maybe she had inspiration from other artists. Maybe a lot of times you'll hear artists or actors or dancers or whoever say, oh, when I was growing up, I idolized whoever, in their same industry. And they kind of you can see hints of that in their music or their dance or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe she had some inspiration or some help, but did she do it on her own?
Well, of course. So her raw talent, she did on her own. As far as is she the songwriter? Maybe. I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know if she wrote the song or not.
I don't know if she wrote the song that he's talking about, which I'm guessing he's talking about the
bad guy, most likely.
Thing.
Some of her other music too, probably.
Yeah, because there are songwriters out there that write songs and sell them to popular singers. Mm-hmm. And at some point, when she got big enough, she had to get a manager. She'd have to get a advertising agency. I'm sure, a public image.
Yeah, see, he doesn't need any of those things because he's him.
No, yeah, he's just fucking crazy. And
with a green screen, he's not on a baseball field.
No. All he has to do is worry about being crazy, and that's pretty easy because he's fucking crazy.
Yeah. She's got a lot more to worry about, hair and makeup, music.
For there are great forces of dark beyond what we can even imagine that is full bore after our children. If they can't abort them, they're going to drug them. If they can't drug them, they're going to vaccinate them. If they can't vaccinate them, they're going to indoctrinate them in school. If they can't indoctrinate them in school, they're going to indoctrinate them through the media. If they can't indoctrinate them through the media, they're going to take them to libraries and talk about homosex.
What kind of fucking library is in your town? I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I spent a decent amount of time going to the library. I know a lot of people don't now because we're kind of old, but when I was younger, especially during the summer, not really during school because we had the library at the school, but the public library during summertime, I went to the library at least once a week, and no one there ever talked about homosex to me.
Well, I think he's talking about the drag queen story hour thing.
Oh my God. So what? They're talking about homosex or any other kind of sex. They're reading children's books.
Well, yeah, but also, do you know, at water parks, how they'll have those, giant slides that you can slide down and you go really fast?
The really tall ones? Yeah.
That is the fucking slippery slope that he just slid down.
Yeah, it's weird.
If you can't abort them, then you're going to vaccinate them.
No,
drug them. And then you're going to vaccinate them. And then you and then
indoctrinate them in school into, what, knowledge? Okay.
And if they can't, if they can't indoctrinate them in school, they're going to indoctrinate them through the media. If they can't indoctrinate them through the media, they're going to take them to libraries and talk to them about homosex. What is the time frame for this particular individual that he's referring to? This child? Because he goes abort and then drug and then vax and then indoctrinate them in the school. And then assuming they go through the school and they can't indoctrinate them, then it's the media assuming that they're at least 18 or out of high school or something like that. Yeah. And then if the media can't, and then now they're going to libraries and they're learning about homosexuality. I would hope that you would learn about sex ed in maybe high school. I don't know.
We first had sex education kind of stuff in health class in middle school. That was the first 6th or 7th grade. I can't remember exactly, but that's the first time I remember talking about it in health class.
Folks, the assault on the American child is at an all-time fever pitch. And those of us who carry the name of Christ, we are asleep in the light, baby.
So, you're talking about indoctrinating kids, but, teaching them factual things in school is not indoctrination. What you do in church with the Christ shit is.
Well, right. And what he's trying to do is guilt other Christians into being asleep, being that they're lax and they're not seeing this as a potential threat that he thinks it is. When in reality, it's not a potential threat. It's a fucking song. It's a singer.
It's a really good song, too.
Yeah. But I mean, this reminds me so much of like the Satanism scare during like the 70s and the 80s with rock music and shit. Like it like Satanic Panic. Like it feels exactly like that, except now everybody's like, listen, we've been through this once. It was fucking stressful. We really don't give a shit now. But anyways, that's going to be it for us today here on the Skeptic Mafia podcast. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please leave us your thoughts down below. We would love to hear your guys' feedback. And thank you for your continued support of us.
Definitely. And don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.